Amend the Max Media Group's e-store is now live.
We've got Reparations Now, Policy Over Party, and Cut the Check, branded merch and hoodies, hats, and tees, and even V-necks for the ladies.
You can even get a commemorative, one-of-a-kind Cut the Check spatula spreader. The engraved keepsake life knife is guaranteed for a lifetime and can be passed down to future generations. Go to etnmediagroupstore.com.
That's etnmediagroupstore.com. Right now, as always, appreciate you.
Visit ETM Media Group online merch store and cut the check.
The way it currently stands, forced labor, slavery takes precedence over rehabilitation and public safety.
Oh, by the way, while the Biden administration gives reparations to everyone but free people, look at the billions he has run over to Ukraine.
We don't have black grocery stores because if you think about it now, just to get in that supply chain, it's almost unheard of.
They don't want the truth to get out. Okay? I don't want to know what my family did or what all these people did and all this stuff like that. Okay? You read that 500-page report.
There's this thing called white superiority and black inferiority. That mindset allows all of the behaviors that we've seen across generations.
I had no idea that that church I was running by every day was something my grandfather established.
This is not a handout. This is a debt that is owed.
You know, Allensworth was like the internet of his time in 1904, 1905.
The total black population in California is about 2.6 million, and then of that, the descendants compose about 2.2 million of that. So California, with a multi-billion-dollar surplus, can absolutely afford to satisfy the international terms for reparations, beginning with compensation.
Any financial obstacle that exists that impedes the success of increasing financial prosperity needs to be dealt with and eliminated.
No matter where we've been, no matter what part of this fight we've been in, we've been harmed, and we've had harm done to us specifically.
When I got to Los Angeles, this was some of the worst segregation I'd ever seen. And remember, I'm telling you, I'm from Mississippi.
Because as you can see, I'm giving you broken history right now, you know? But I had to give it to you guys today. I said, no, I got to show them this because it's so precious and nobody really knows about it.
Overnight, it's like, oh, it's no longer the quarters, now it's Lincoln Heights. Oh, so now we get to use Abraham Lincoln for our name. And you think about all the other people that they could have used, but they picked Lincoln. And I think that's sort of a stereotypical of what they do.
There wasn't any black restaurants. As far as black business and weed, it wasn't none.
Black people don't have that kind of luxury. Our historically black communities have been redistricted multiple times.
Why has it been easier for other groups than us?
Because of anti-black hatred.
Now listen, if you can't handle the TR room, don't tune in.
We are back in the news. Let's go. Kamala Harris wraps up Ghana visit, heads to Tanzania. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris met with Ghanaian women entrepreneurs on Wednesday to discuss economic empowerment and leadership before heading to Tanzania to continue her week-long African tour. Harris is the latest U.S. government figure to visit African countries after Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and Secretary of State Antony Blinken, as Washington strives to counter balance growing Chinese and Russian influence on the continent. So we actually have a video that we were going to play. It looks like one of the task force members, Vice Dr. Reverend Amos Brown, was also in Africa, and actually not at the California hearing. I think it was last week, the week before, I don't know. Anyway, let's go play the clip.
And I regret very much that I'm not able to be there because I'm in Ghana, West Africa. As we speak, I was part of the delegation of our Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, that was invited to share with her this historic moment in which she, the first female and person of Asian and African descent, has been blessed with a state dinner. Finally, I want to say, for the benefit of those in the audience and wherever persons may be, we must set the record straight regarding the contextual situation in San Francisco, in which there were comments that were made attributable to me regarding cash payments. That statement was taken out of context, and definitely does not represent my thinking, my spirit, and my soul as a civil rights activist over 6 to 8 years.
All right, well, there you go.
All right, so out there for a state dinner. Sounds like great. All right, well, speaking of do nothing, misplaced priority elected officials, Clarence Thomas and the billionaire. This article came out April 6th, which is today. In late June 2019, right after the U.S. Supreme Court released its final opinion of the term, Justice Clarence Thomas boarded a large private jet headed to Indonesia. He and his wife were going on vacation, 9 days of island hopping in a volcanic archipelago on a yacht ship staffed by coterie of attendants and private chef. If Thomas had chartered the plane and the 162-foot yacht himself, the total cost of the trip would have exceeded $500,000. Fortunately for him, that wasn't necessary. He was on vacation with real estate magnate and Republican megadonor Harlan Crow, who owned the jet and the yacht too. For more than 2 decades, Thomas has accepted luxury trips virtually every year from the Dallas businessman without disclosing them. Documents and interviews show. A public servant who has a salary of $285,000, he has vacation on Crow's super yacht around the globe. He flies on Crow's Barler Global 5000 jet. He has gone with Crow to the Bohemian Grove, the exclusive California all-male retreat, and to Crow's sprawling ranch in East Texas. And Thomas typically spends about a week every summer at Crow's private resort in Aldradax. The extent of and frequency of Crow's apparent gifts to Thomas have no known precedent in the modern history of the U.S. Supreme Court. These trips appeared nowhere on Thomas' financial disclosures. His failure to report the flights appeared to violate a law passed after Watergate that requires justices, judges, members of Congress, and federal officials to disclose most gifts. 2 ethics law experts said. He also should have disclosed his trips on the yacht, these experts said. Thomas did not respond to a detailed list of questions.
Taking expensive trips, I see.
And not disclosing the information seems a little suspect.
There goes our reparations. All right, April 5th, 2023, the latest on Trump's historic indictment. Trump, who has denied all wrongdoing and the affairs, is the first current or former president in the U.S. history to face criminal charges. In his first post-arraignment remarks, he railed against the Manhattan DA in charges during remarks in Florida. Trump's team has until August 8th to file any motions, and the prosecution will respond by September 19th. The judge overseeing the case said he will rule on the motions at the next in-person hearing scheduled for December 4th. Donald Trump pleaded not guilty to 34 felony criminal charges of falsifying business records in an historic and unprecedented court appearance in Manhattan Tuesday. Prosecutors alleged Trump sought to undermine the integrity of the 2016 election through a hush money scheme with payments made to women who claimed they had extramarital affairs with Trump. Man, I can't believe this is taking so long. Then the next in-person hearing is scheduled for December 4th. Yo, Jesus.
Just dragging it out. Also in the news, Cash App founder killed in San Francisco left the city because of rising crime. The founder of Cash App, who was murdered in San Francisco, had previously fled the city due to its rising crime rate, a friend revealed. Bobby Lee, 43, was stabbed to death near downtown San Francisco early on Tuesday, putting a national spotlight on the rising crime in the city. The deteriorating situation was not lost on Lee himself, who had fled to Miami due to the increasing crime, according to his friend, former UFC fighter Jake Shields. Quote, he did comment on San Francisco deteriorating, which is why he actually had just relocated to Miami, end quote, Shields told the Daily Mail. Due to their shared concern over the city, the UFC champion expressed confusion about why the tech entrepreneur was in San Francisco. Quote, so I'm not sure why he's going back there to get a little business back in San Francisco for a couple of days, end quote, he added. Shields himself left the city after his girlfriend was robbed. To him, the killing was just another senseless act of violence in San Francisco. He expressed dismay over the declining state of the city and doubted that anything would change over Lee's death. Quote, the city, it's had problems for a while, but it's very clear to anyone that's been there for a long time that it keeps getting worse, end quote, he said. Quote, people talk and say they're going to do things, but no one does anything, end quote. No arrests have been made so far in the connection of Lee's killing. San Francisco reported 48,633 total crimes in 2022 and contains one of the United States' largest homeless populations. Yeah, I mean, anybody who's spent any time in San Francisco can see that it has really, just gone to the dogs.
Downward spiral.
Which is unfortunate because San Francisco used to be a beautiful city. And they still have some of the highest housing prices, but the city, like I said, has just become a real toilet.
Speaking of beautiful cities, Charleston County, South Carolina, plans to convert an old Confederate Civil War fort on James Island within the city of Charleston into a public waterfront park are moving forward. Director of Parks and Capital Projects, Jason Kronsberg, said on Thursday they spent over $6 million in Greenbelt funds to buy the old Fort Pemberton site off Yates Avenue near the municipal golf course. Quote, "We saw the opportunity to make it a park forever and to provide public access to the water's edge. Incredible sunsets out here with the western view and provide some waterfront access," end quote, Kronberg said. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Kronsberg said the city is nearly ready to begin work to open the area to the public after the pandemic caused their initial efforts to be delayed. He added the city bought the 8.5-acre site prior to the pandemic. The earthworks and moat that made the fort's defenses are still visible to this day. Officials plan to create a park on the site with a small parking lot, walking trails, and access to the Stono River for kayaking and fishing, and adding historical storyboards to tell the fort's history. We'll tell the story, Kronberg said. What was, why it's here, why is the dirt shaped like this, and what the goal of the fort was protecting the city of Charleston. Because of the way the site was purchased, large events will not be allowed at the park, but it will be open for picnics and other activities. A total cost for the project is not yet known.
So, did the article indicate that there was any pushback to taking over this historic fort for this new purpose, or everybody's pretty much on board with it?
Yeah, I didn't see that, so I might have overlooked that part about it being any pushback. But for our people out there in South Carolina, if anybody knows more about this story and if there is pushback, definitely hit us up, etmmediagroup@gmail.com, to give us an update.
In other news, what is FedNow? FedNow is the Fed's new real-time payment service that's expected to launch in July. There's a new payment service coming to the financial industry this year. The Federal Reserve will offer instant payments that can be sent anytime. Still, unlike consumer-facing transfer services such as Venmo or Zelle, the service's availability will depend on whether your bank opts in. Let's break it down. What is FedNow? FedNow is the Federal Reserve's new instant payment service that will enable customers at participating banks and credit unions to send and receive money within seconds, 24/7, and every day. You'd be able to complete payments and transfers on weekends, holidays, after bank business hours, which isn't the case for standard online transfers such as those through Automatic Clearinghouse Network ACH transfers. Are processed in batches and tend to take 1 to 3 business days to complete. Quote, what FedNow will do is to enable all the banks, any bank in the United States, not just the big ones, to offer instantly available funds and real-time payments to their customers, end quote, said Fed Chair Jerome Powell before the House Financial Services Committee on March 8th. FedNow will be available to all banks and credit unions, but there's no requirement for them to join. Consumers, businesses, and non-bank payment providers won't be able to use FedNow directly, but they can through a participating financial institution. Neobanks, which aren't banks, would need to partner with a participant bank. When will FedNow launch? The Federal Reserve plans to launch FedNow in July 2023. More than 120 banks and payment providers have been part of the pilot program since 2021. So this new FedNow app sounds a lot like Cash App, I would say. I'm not the only one that's thinking that. We have a Sharice Lane Twitter user here who made a post saying, so Cash App's founder is mysteriously murdered 3 more months before the U.S. Federal Reserve launches their own digital banking system in July called FedNow, and they expect us to believe that wasn't planned. We're not dumb, and we see right through y'all, she also adds.
Yeah, there is somewhat of a coincidence there.
Yeah, on the timing there with the FedNow app. So, hopefully Cash App will continue to exist. Rest in peace to the founder, Mr. Lee, that was murdered out there in San Francisco. But I don't think I'm going to be signing up for FedNow anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't know how many other people are going to either, but
yeah, FedNaw.
FedNaw. All right. Speaking of Fed, this is the other Fed. FedEx is laying off 10% of its officers and directors amid cooling demand. FedEx is cutting more than 10% of its officers and directors, CEO Raj Subramanian. All right. Let's rewind. Let's take our time with this one. Raj Subramanian announced, and I still messed that up, but all right, we're going to keep pushing. Announced Wednesday as the company slashes corporate jobs to cut costs amid cooling consumer demand. Unfortunately, this was a necessary action to become a more efficient, agile organization. It is my responsibility to look critically at the business and determine where we can be stronger by better aligning the size of our network with customer demand, Subramanian said in a letter to FedEx team members. Shares of FedEx closed over 4% higher at the end of Wednesday's trading day. The layoffs come as shipping momentum slows after the COVID pandemic e-commerce boom. The package and shipping industry experienced a surge during the pandemic amid a spike in online consumer spending, but as inflation has shrunk consumers' wallets, it has also eaten into FedEx's profits. The company's stock is off roughly 20% over the past year.
Wow, I mean, these jobs are just disappearing left and right.
Yeah, I know, because, a lot of people, rely on these mail services.
Right. I mean, and a lot of brick and mortars shut down during the pandemic too. So we lost a lot of businesses there. And now, there sounds like the e-commerce is slowing up too. So that's because everybody's broke, pretty much.
Yep.
All right. Company responds after a job opening with notes about their preferred white candidates gets mistakenly shared. Everyone makes mistakes at work, but there are some missteps you just can't come back from. A tech company, Arthur Grant Technologies, is currently learning the hard way. The company is at the center of an uproar on social media and LinkedIn after posting an openly discriminatory job opening. And as so often happens with these situations, their attempts to explain themselves have only made things worse. In its first attempt at tampering down the uproar, seen in the screenshot below, the company claimed to a LinkedIn user that the new employee posted the ad. And that reads, let's see, we appreciate being informed about this information and offer our sincere apologies. At Arthur Guard, we do not condone or engage in any type of discrimination based on race, color, or religion. We conducted an investigation and discovered that a new junior recruiter at our firm was responsible for the offending job posting. We have taken immediate action and terminated their employment for violating our policy. Moving forward, we will take measures to ensure that such incidents do not occur again. Thank you for your understanding. Regards, Arthur Grand Technologies. In a subsequent post, they changed the story, update on the Indeed job posting, and it goes on to say, this posting was neither authorized nor posted by Arthur Grand or its employees. A former employee took an existing posting and added discriminatory language, then reposted it through his own account. The moment this was brought to our attention, we worked with the job portal to remove this offensive job posting. Necessary legal action has been initiated against the job poster. Okay, so why would they say that they fired this new employee in the first place if that never happened? And why would a former employee still have their company account active? Are my questions.
Yeah, I have to look into it more. I mean, it just sounds like weird.
Yeah, very weird. So if you see over here, we had someone post on Twitter the actual job announcement, $75 an hour. Note, only born U.S. citizens, white, they have in parentheses there, who are local within 60 miles from Dallas, Texas. Please do not share with candidates. So, yeah.
Yeah, I probably have to look into, because, you know, sometimes you don't know about the timing when stuff got posted and then when the companies respond. So, yeah, I don't know. It just seems a little odd how, you know.
But why come up with the first story? Oh, we investigated. They said they investigated. They investigated and they found that a new recruiter had posted the information and then that recruiter was fired. Then they follow up with the story that says, oh, no, actually, it's a former employee that changed the wording on the document and posted it. So it just all around is not adding up.
Yeah, the story seems a little suspect anyway, but hey, you know, there you go. Los Angeles officially drought-free? Let's see. The record-breaking storms that battered Southern California may yet bring flooding from the melting snowpack, allergies from lush grasslands, and super blooms and wildfires when those hills dry out. But for now, they've brought an end to the drought across much of California. The U.S. Drought Monitor this week lists Los Angeles as not only drought-free, but almost entirely free of dry conditions. Only a minute corner of the Antelope Valley is listed as abnormally dry. The conditions in California are a far cry from October, when 99% of the state was experiencing drought conditions. In December, the nation's largest water supplier declared a drought emergency for all of Southern California, clearing the way for mandatory water restrictions impacting as many as 19 million people. The Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, which provides water to 26 different agencies that supply major population centers like Los Angeles and San Diego counties, warned that cutbacks were coming. Less than 3 months and 12 atmospheric storms later, the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California's Board of Directors voted to rescind the water restrictions that impacted 6 local water agencies in Los Angeles, Ventura, and San Bernardino counties that are heavily dependent on supplies from the state water project. The affected agencies, covering roughly 6 million people, had been ordered to restrict outdoor watering to 1 day per week beginning June 1st, 2022.
Well, that's good news. You know, hopefully that will last and we'll have a mild or non-existent fire season this year.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, California's been pretty consistent with over the last couple of years to have fires. So,
Oh, yeah.
We'll see.
All right. Black farming community fights to get fair deal as state takes land for Ford plant roadways. Farmers near the Blue Oval City campus are excited by the project, but say the state is offering them a fraction of what their land is worth. Haywood County, Tennessee. 1 year after Ford Motor Company broke ground on its future $5.6 billion electric truck plant, signs of economic prosperity are popping up nearly everywhere in the rural West Tennessee. At Shigadina in Stanton, Tennessee, population 400, several miles down the road from the construction site, a near-empty display of fruit pies and a carpet freshly muddied with work boots marks the end of the new lunchtime rush. In windows all around the nearby Brownsville town square, businesses have tacked up "Welcome Y'all" signs with the blue Ford logo, including one at a local real estate firm next listing for 70 acres of vacant land near Ford's new Blue Oval City campus. The listing is on the market for $14.5 million, an exorbitant jump in value from the $10,000 per acre asking prices several years ago. And local planning and zoning commissions lengthy agendas list approvals requests for bed and breakfasts, retail districts, sports bars, and gas stations. Meanwhile, there's not a hotel room to be had within a 30-mile radius. Marvin Sanderlin, a longtime local farmer with 400 acres, said he'd like to take advantage of the coming development too. But the state has taken him to court for 10 acres of his property. The land lies in a path of the planned roadway connecting the Ford plant to the interstate. The state's offer $37,500 or $3,750 per acre. $3,750 per acre. Quote, "That's unheard of," end quote, Sanderlin said of the offer, which includes the purchase of 2 acres of farmland outright and compensation for another 8 acres of his property that will become inaccessible with the new interchange. Quote, "You can't buy no land here for $3,500 an acre. You can't buy a swamp here for $3,500, Sanderlin said, end quote. "I told them this is the biggest ripoff there is. They want your land, but they don't want you to participate in the wealth." Sanderlin is not alone in his legal fight with the state in this largely rural African American farming region, where land being acquired by the Tennessee Department of Transportation has been in some families for generations.
Wow. It's another case of, eminent domaining, gentrification, redlining, you name it.
Right. There was an interesting comment on Twitter somebody made. They said they didn't know that eminent domain could be imposed for a private company. I mean, when you hear about eminent domain, it's mostly, state parks, highways, things of that nature. But maybe because it's connected to this interstate somehow. Yeah. But yeah, just pay the man what it's worth. I mean, they know what the property values are. They have this a property, what they say, 70 acres for $14.5 million. Just offer the man market value. I mean, the price of doing business.
Facts. All right. Well, speaking of, I guess isn't business, maybe personal, home, maybe business. I don't know. Anyway, so for those that don't know, California has something called the California Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loan. The Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loan is a down payment assistance program for first-time home buyers to be used in conjunction with the Dream for All conventional first mortgage for down payment and or closing costs. Upon sale or transfer of the home buyer repays the original down payment loan plus a share of the appreciation in the value of the home. The current program eligibility is review the guidelines below for both borrower and property requirements to determine if you may be eligible to apply for the Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loan Program. So if you go on to calhfa.ca.gov, you should be able to find some more information on this Shared Appreciation Loan Program to find the eligibility and other property requirements. So just wanted to let people know who do live in California, just to be heads up about this program. But if you have more information, once again, go on that website and talk to, a real estate investor or your real estate agent or broker to get more information on this program to see if it's something that you might be able to take advantage of or not.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the market, may as well look in to see what kind of programs are available, because housing is just out of control. I mean, you really ain't never going to own these homes, even as a homeowner, just with the way that the interest is. I saw another post about a 40-year loan. I think the numbers were like 400,000. You start out at 400,000, but after 40 years and paying the interest, you end up having paid 1.2 million or something like that for the house, if you ever get it paid off at all. But there are benefits to home ownership, definitely, because you'd be spending that money renting anyway. So definitely get into home ownership if you can.
Yeah, and I think the task force is working on some of the some housing proposals, I believe, as well. So for the
If anybody's following the California Reparations Task Force, initially one of their proposed timelines was 1930 to 1977 on the housing harms, just looking at that time period. But several commenters, including myself, stated that needed to be extended to current day times, which we're still dealing with housing hardships and harms today. And it looks like the task force is going to be extending housing harms to current day, which is good. Definitely.
Wonderful.
Yeah. In sports news, sportsmanship, or should we say sportsmanship, how a hand gesture dominated a NCAA title game and revealed a double standard. Louisiana State University beat the University of Iowa in the women's NCAA tournament final on Sunday in a matchup full of historic firsts and dramatic moments. One of the most talked about moves happened late in the game and involved two star players, John Cena's wrestling catchphrase, and a social media frenzy. Here's what happened. LSU forward Angel Reese celebrated the Tigers' fourth quarter lead and imminent victory by waving one hand in front of her face, a gesture popularized by wrestler as "You Can't See Me," and tapping her ring finger while looking pointedly at Iowa Hockey's guard Caitlin Clark. The moment quickly went viral, with commenters and observers criticizing Reese for what they perceived as unsportsmanlike taunting of Clark. The word, quote, classless, end quote, even trended on Twitter. Reese is black and Clark is white. And both players have used the same gesture at this year's March Madness. Clark waved her hand in front of her face 2 games earlier when Iowa beat Louisville to enter the Final Four. But she didn't get criticism for it. In fact, she earned praise, including from Cerna himself.
All right, so 2 things. One, I think you said Hawkeys. I think you meant Hawkeyes.
Oh,
the
Hawkeye.
Iowa Hawkeyes. Yeah.
Hawkeyes.
And then I think it's Cena, John
Cena?
Cena. Yeah, from the wrestler.
Have
that's
you
what
ever
they're
seen
talking
him use that signature move before?
Absolutely not. I don't follow any of this stuff, so.
Well, also they were saying that his signature move was also co-opted from a rapper. I'm not sure of the rapper's name, but he co-opted it from somebody else. Anyways, but look at the picture. I think it was Yori or somebody like that, Nori or someone like that did it in a music video, and he picked it up from the music video and made it his own, and now it's his signature move.
Oh, so Cena took it from supposedly a rap video.
Right.
And then this basketball player then took it from John Cena.
Right.
And then, okay.
And then when the black girl did it, it became
confused.
a problem. And then when the black girl did it, became a problem. So if you're looking at the picture, doesn't the move look similar to you?
Yeah, it is probably similar.
And I think we have a couple of videos to go with this to see what the champion, LSU champion Angel Reese had to say. If we could go ahead and roll video number 1.
If we were to lose, we would not be getting invited to the White House. And I remember she made a comment about both teams should be invited because it was sportsmanship. And I'm like, are you saying that because of what I did and what, like that stuff like that? It bothers me because you are a woman at the end of the day. And you're supposed to be standing behind us before anything. So it's hard to see things like that and not to comment back on it.
One moment before you play video number 2, what she was referring to there is after they won the championship fair and square, Jill Biden said, we should invite both teams to the White House when it's been a long-standing tradition to invite the winning team.
All right, let's go to number 2.
The damage is
I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't accept the apology because of you said what you
Jill
said.
Biden.
Yeah.
First lady.
The wife,
Lady.
yeah.
You said what you said and you meant what you said.
I said what I said, and you can't go back on certain things that you say. I mean, you felt like they should have came because of sportsmanship, right? They can have that spot. Like, we'll go to the Obamas. We'll see, I'm gonna see Michelle. I'm gonna see Barack.
Hold on. So did you guys speak to the First Lady?
No, apparently she was supposed to come to our locker room before the game, but we said no.
Before the game?
Yeah, she was supposed to come to our locker room and go to Iowa's locker room. I don't know if she talked to them. I don't know if she did, but we said we didn't want to. We didn't want her coming to the locker room. I think Joe Biden had put somebody else to win a national championship. He didn't put us on his bracket to get out of Baton Rouge. So I was like, bet.
Oh, you weren't even on the bracket.
We weren't even out of. No, we didn't even get out of Baton Rouge. I think that he said we were gonna lose to Michigan or something.
No faith.
Jesus. I guess they was like, we good.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope she's not too disappointed if she never gets that meet and greet with the Obamas. But we'll see how that goes. I don't think they've extended an invitation yet. So stay tuned.
Yeah, who knows? All right, so I think we got 1 more. 2 more? 1 more? I don't know. All right, here we go. The IRS is extending tax deadlines in 6 states due to storms. In recent months, the weather across the United States has been harrowing for residents in a number of states due to wildfires, hurricanes, and other disasters. In addition to FEMA support, the IRS is now stepping up to help, extending the tax deadline for Americans in the hardest hit areas just 2 weeks before the traditional deadline of April 18th. This article was originally written and published on April 4th. Among those getting extensions are residents of Alabama, Arkansas, California, Georgia, Mississippi, and New York. And to note, not all areas in each affected state may be eligible for the tax weather extension. So please verify with a tax consultant the state's franchise tax board, or go to www.irs.gov for more information. That's www.irs.gov for more information.
And is the extended deadline indicated in this article? No, we need to go look for more information because I heard it was like October, but don't quote me.
Yeah, that's why I would suggest going to the irs.gov, and also if you are in these states, just to check what date that is. I believe for California, and don't quote both of us, it's October 16th for some affected areas within the state of California. But once again, for verification and confirmation, go to the irs.gov website.
All right. And we've got a very important deadline coming up next week. We've been keeping an eye on here at ETM Media with the OMB is taking comments from the public on race and ethnicity. So definitely want to get your comments in before the deadline coming up next week on Wednesday, April the 12th. Just also want to note that there have been some emergency meetings taking place, groups that are saying, slavery is not an ethnicity, and, wanting to keep everything the same on the census records. That's why it's more important than ever for us to put our comments in, indicating how we would like to be identified on census and government records. So again, just heads up, the deadline, if you're going to be making a comment to the OMB, is next week.
Yes, April 12th is the deadline. So please, please, please. I think the last time the OMB did something like this was like 1997, I think it was, something around that year. So, hey, this is the chance. This is your time to let the federal government know how you want to be described, listed, counted in the United States of America. So once again, that's April 12th. And go to the SPD 15, I believe. I think we're going to have a video about it. And if you haven't been on our channel, please like, share, and subscribe. And you should be able to link to how to get onto the OMB website to go ahead and put in your comments, your public comments.
Yes, we need to flood the zone with our comments because there are organized groups out here that are against disaggregation, and they are definitely, like I said, holding emergency meetings and everything else. So we want to make sure that, our voices are heard.
Definitely. All right, well, I think that's about it. So be on the lookout for upcoming things going on. I believe actually
lots of things.
Actually in April, I believe the 16th, and we'll probably be promoting it on the platform. Hopefully sooner than later. We're going to actually be speaking with some folks down in East Palo Alto that hopefully are going to be coming through and letting us know what kind of work they're doing down there in East Palo Alto. We've been hearing some good things with family down there, so can't wait to have that conversation with them. And also, once again, we're still working on that reparations now, documentary distribution, so definitely be on the lookout for that. We've so far gotten some excellent feedback in the project. I think that's about it.
Yeah, looking forward to them things.
Them things. All right, everyone is it Easter for those?
It is Easter. Yeah. So today is, tomorrow is Good Friday. So yes, Sunday is Easter. So happy Easter weekend, everybody.
Yeah, do celebrate Easter. Happy Easter to those. And if you don't as well, have a great weekend. And on that note, peace and reparations. And that is in the news. The U.S. Office of Management and Budget Interagency Technical Working Group, OMB, on race and ethnicity standards is requesting public comments on the initial proposals on how to improve the quality and usefulness of SPD 15, a federal statistical policy directive.
The deadline to submit your comment is Wednesday, April 12th. For more information and to submit your comment, go to spd15revision.gov. That's spd15revision.gov.
This is a rare opportunity and may not come again until the next 27 years. Your voice counts. Be heard.